When you think about a specific vehicle that's effective in that environment, you want something that's going to be small, can fit in between car spaces, and maneuver in and out and provide good visibility for an officer. So that's something that over the last few years we've looked very carefully at, and probably 8 years ago we started testing different vehicles. We tried small four-wheel electric vehicles. We tried conventional cars with and without license plate recognition. We tried walking. We tried bicycles. And the only thing we haven't tried is the Segway. Yeah. As we continued to move forward, we looked at smaller vehicles and tried to find the best fit. And I think there's been a few manufacturers out there that provide a three-wheel type vehicle, which ultimately allows the right size of frame to be manufactured in a small size. So we found that to be very successful for us to get in and out of these areas. Now, besides the annual parking, we have a lot of crosswalks in our downtown prime area. And what do crosswalks get used for by delivery trucks? They stop and they want to use them. For some reason, they think this is the area where deliveries are to be made in those busy areas. So when you have a car or you have a large vehicle that doesn't have good maneuverability, you have to sit behind that vehicle and wait for traffic to clear up before you can move forward. So we found that, again, small-sized enforcement vehicle is best utilized in these scenarios because they can sneak around trucks very safely in between traffic, position themselves in front of the vehicle if they want to stop and write a ticket or do whatever is necessary without interfering with the rest of traffic. So, from an experience standpoint, we found that that type of scenario worked best with small vehicles. We also have small alleyways that we enforce. And in these alleyways, we have loading trucks as well that sit there for hours, and sometimes they should be there or shouldn't be there. We'll have cars. It's the same scenario. You need a very narrow-bodied vehicle that has an excellent turning radius, especially in an alleyway, that can get them through for enforcement. All I can say is I know that there are several different types of vehicles. We've tried a few of them, and we've tried the regular conventional engine vehicle. We're also purchasing electric vehicles. I don't know if anybody's doing that yet, but we're finding those to be very successful for a lot of reasons. Using an electric vehicle in a small enforcement type system reduces heat. And that, of course, makes it better for the enforcement officer in whatever scenario they might be working. Is they have double opening doors, which improves the flow of air through the vehicle. And now that we've converted, or we're in the process of converting to EV, it's extremely cool. And so the officer is very happy and satisfied in their job. So, I think that's a real advantage when you're talking about these types of vehicles. Kevin's already hit on a lot of topics in terms of maneuverability and vision and safety and so forth. But I just want to stress again the importance of an officer's ability to see in many directions. For an officer to be effective, and I'd be glad to hear from some of you that came up through that type of system. I was not a park enforcement officer ever, but I find it a real challenge to supervise and manage them. But, I think it's incumbent of the officer to have good visibility for safety, but also to be able to promptly respond to any condition that he sees. A lot of times for a park enforcement officer, it's timing. It's a matter of how quickly they can get to a scenario to affect change. Whether it's a truck delivering outside of a loading zone, or somebody parking in an area that they shouldn't be, or in the wrong direction. If you don't respond promptly, then you have the chance of allowing this kind of thing to cascade. We all know that in parking, once one guy does something wrong, the rest follow, right? It's just the way it is. So an officer needs to be able to have good vision in all directions, and then also be able to access either direction out of that vehicle. So that's one of the reasons that's sort of been an objective of ours as we go on and identify the vehicles that we're looking for. But plus, with good maneuverability, they can safely turn in go down an alley or go down to another corner or down a street light very quickly to write the citations that they need to write. I don't have a whole lot more to tell you except, I really endorse this type of vehicle. The last thing is that, and again, they've kind of covered this, but we want to make sure these officers are safe inside those little cages. A few years back, I operated a large fleet of buses around the country, and I know it's not an enforcement vehicle, but it's all about safety and design. We had a bus driver actually sort of hit a side wall at the end of the street. And what we didn't know about the buses at the time is that there was no frame protecting the driver. There's plenty of frame around the exterior of the bus, but it went in and decapitated the legs of the driver. You got to think about your enforcement team out in traffic all day long, crossing intersections, high speeds and slow speeds, and in some really tight spots. If safety is not your number one goal, then you're probably going to wind up with some problems at some point. The vehicles we use are very safe. They're well weighted, and the cage is very safe for them. So we're happy with it. I guess that's about it. All right. Yes. Anybody have a question for me about Sarasota? Yes.
You mentioned the gas power.
We have gas and EV right now. We're experiencing 2 days of operations without a charge, actually. So that's 30 miles maybe. And of course, it depends, how you're going to operate it, how much stopping and starting, how long of a distance you're going to drive. We have bridges in Sarasota, so that takes a little bit more effort if they're going over bridges or not.
You have LPR nowadays to either your gas or your unelectric power?
We do not. We're exploring that. And we did have an LPR system in a conventional vehicle. We found it ineffective, frankly, because again, in the state of Florida, you have to issue a citation to the vehicle, or at least in the city of Sarasota. So trying to find the right location to handle that and how to park that vehicle, get out of the vehicle with the information you need to write it was difficult. So we ended up using it in large areas, but not in a dense urban setting where parking enforcement is really important. So that's why we kind of migrated back to a smaller vehicle. Yeah. Thank you.